Hey, this is Lorena. Do I look like a ghost? Hey, this is do I look... Do I look like I'm in a dark tomb? Alright, hold on. In this video, I wanted to share how you multi-hoop lettering. A client of mine sent me some banners. Well, they're going to be part of a quilt. They're not even banners. But she wanted certain lettering in these little panels. That's what they were. They were panels. And she wanted lettering a little bit bigger than you would do on one hoop. So in a lot of these, I'm using 2 hoops to enlarge the lettering size, and I'm going to share how I do it. All right, so let's get doing this. You're going to count the letters and the spaces, because the spaces take up space when you're digitizing. And so it came out to 33 spaces and letters in total. Now you're going to divide that in half. After you count the lettering, you're also going to measure how big your panel is. So here's my center, and from the center out, and I also measured a little measurement line here and a measurement line here, and that's how tall the letters are going to go across. So I measured about, I think this is as tall as 1 inch. So I'm going to hoop one side with this at the end. What you're going to do is you're going to go onto your computer, your digital program, and you're going to divide half of the letters. So half of the letters would be up to the letter P of impossible. Alright, I'm in my Bernina Artista program, and I realized that my lettering needed to be 1 inch tall, and it needed to be about 22 inches wide. So here I found the hoop that I usually use to do this kind of work. I use the largest hoop that I have. I want my letters to be 1 inch tall. So here I'm going to put my height 1 inch. So that's the height I need them to have based on the measurements of my panels. And the issue is it's too big. So when I counted my letters, these letters come out to 33, and then I divided it in half. So this is where I do one part of it, and this is one part of it, and this is the other part. So now that I have it done, I'm gonna do another set of letters. So now this perfectly fits inside my hoop. And then you want them to be as tall as the other one. On my panel, I already have the height that needs to be, where I start and where I stop, and where the center is to the panel. So I'm going to save these separately. So I'm going to make another page. I'm going to save this on one file and this on another file. And then when I put it on my embroidery machine, I know exactly how to put it together. So for example, if I was to copy this part, make it real small so you can see it. So what I'm going to do is have my embroidery machine embroider this part right here, and then have rehoop it, and embroider this part. I'm using a tearaway stabilizer. It tears. And the large hoop that I have. And make sure that you have your grid. This really helps. You're doing one layer of stabilizer because this already has an interfacing. As a matter of fact, I really don't need to use a stabilizer because it has an interfacing. So I need to measure from here to here 22. I marked my 0 right there. I measured from this end to this end, and I'm sorry that you can't see it well, but I'm working. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place this hoop here with the grid, and this material is going to this end. Now I want to make sure that this whole thing is nice and straight. 1/4 inch. You want to make sure that this grid line is perfectly straight. And you can see that it's crooked, so I'm going to straighten it out. So you can see this is perfectly lined up and it's at this end. That's where I need to start the words. And if I did it right, this is my center right here. So my lettering should end there. And so I want it to embroider above this main line. I don't know if you can see that. And I want to make sure that these are both the same size, that I digitized it right. The reason I have it on the bottom edge is because there's some of the applique goes lower. This is how I put it. I literally lined up the letter P to this center line. I want you to see how this came out. Now I still need to clean that up. You can see it. I cleaned it all up. And the reason I let it be is because I was finding the positioning. I didn't want to unhoop and hoop while I'm trying to find position because everything kind of shifts a bit. So I just let it embroider and then I move it over. One of the most difficult processes of doing this is making sure that you hoop and align everything perfectly. I love using the grids that come with my embroidery machines because the grids are also on the embroidery machine themselves and also on the hoop. And if you count right, like count exactly where it's at and count exactly where it's at on the hoop, you know where to put things exactly where they need to be. It off the frame. This is what it looks like in the back. I tend to use scraps stabilizer sometimes, like for like tearaway, because you could layer it. So I'll save this, and save this, put it away. That's what it looks like in the back. That's what it looks like in the front. I kind of thought this was messing up, but no, it came out really great. Now I need to remove all the water soluble stains and it's ready for the client to come pick up. And so this is completely done. I'm gonna remove it from the hoop. Like, it didn't end here where I wanted it, but it went off at least a little bit. And I use step stitch instead of satin stitch because the lettering is bigger and it's going to be a useful quilt. This is satin stitch. And this is this one. I also wanted to share that this same process, I went ahead and I did it on a quilt for a minister, the pastor that married us. And I embroidered all the way around the quilt a scripture that he loved. And yeah, I did it exactly like this, okay? Exactly.